So this is the part 2 of A Day in My Life of an Artist. I posted the other video, which was about my office, and did a little run through of my art studio. So I wanted to actually show you in a separate video, for those that just wanted the painting, a full painting from the start, blank canvas, to the end. It's how many of my abstracts look. I walk you through the products I use, although I let you pick the colors of paint you use. I tell you what colors I use, but I don't go into a lot of detail because, you know, you may not like the oranges and the pinks I choose on this one. You may like your own colors that you pick. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you have any questions, let me know. Let me know if you like this style of abstract. I can do more. It's not the only style of abstract I do, but it's one of the main styles that I'm most comfortable with. So let's get started, and I hope you watched video 1, which was more about my life, my studio, and me as an artist. And a little different than I normally do, but I thought I would let you get to know me a little bit better. So here we go on the actual painting, and I hope you enjoy this. Now, here's the painting, and we're going to get started on the day. So as I start my painting, I don't normally show the colors. I will talk to the colors, but I grab colors just sporadically. And I always feel that you're going to use the colors that you like, but I'll talk to which colors I use, and you can certainly ask me, and I can tell you. But I will use mainly colors from Golden. I will use the colors, the Golden fluids and the high flows. I will also use Lucas paints, which are what I'm starting with here. They're like very soft. But I will most 90% of the time mix my colors together. So the orange Lucas there is the true color, is more the darker orange, and I've mixed the lighter color with the white. And I normally start my painting with charcoal or a pencil. So there's a piece of graphite or charcoal, I think it's graphite, and then I go to a pencil. But I don't always start my paintings. I just, when I start a painting, I don't normally know what I'm going to do. I like the painting to talk to me as I'm working it. I will start with grabbing some colors and go from there. I will usually start with either warm colors or cool colors so that they don't necessarily make mud right off the bat. On this painting, you're going to see me add a fixative, and I'll talk to that, but I don't always add a fixative. A fixative is a spray that will keep those lines more in place so that you don't have smearing. I love smearing. Many times I don't even grab a fixative. There are 2 types of fixatives that I use. One covers oil pastels. I use it when I use my oil sticks. And on this particular painting, I am using the fixative that is just mainly for marks, and it's the Prismacolor one. The other from Sennelier, I believe that's what you call it, is more expensive. But this one is not for any oil, so it's not as much. You do want to use this outside. It was raining this day, so I had a fan and I had a mask on. You do want to spray a coating and then let it dry, and then spray 1 or 2 more if you want to adhere those in there without them smearing at all. You'll see that I mainly just added 1 thicker coat and let it dry, and then there was some smearing of the charcoal and the pencil, and that was perfectly okay with me. If you, again, you'll want to take this outside, spray it a couple times if you want to secure those lines without anything smearing. Unless you, these are water soluble, which means that they will melt, so to say, becomes, smeared when water is added to it. So I'm keeping in with the pinks and the oranges, and you can see right there that when the paint, which was watery, hit some of the lines, and then I use the paper towel, and you can either use a baby wipe or a paper towel, whichever you prefer, touched the charcoal or the graphite. I believe it's graphite in this case. It smeared. The pencil was thinner, so the pencil seems to have more of a stability, but they're both getting smeared. It would have really smeared a lot had I not done some spray, so it's totally up to you. I added, and I always do, Golden's High Flow to Titanium White, and I even added some water to do some dripping. A lot of the drips won't even show at the end. It just is something I do. It's on, what I love list. It just helps me as an artist to move on to the next step. You'll do some things that necessarily won't necessarily show up in your end painting, but there'll be things that you do that just helps your mind go to the next step. Some of the white paint is turning gray, which I love when it hits those graphite areas. And I'm not really looking at composition. I am looking at, lights and darks, and I'm looking to cover the canvas, but I'm not paying a lot of attention to exactly where I'm putting the paint. That is a green gold that I have added white to. Now this canvas is really, it's a 36 by 36, so the whole thing doesn't show up with my camera on this particular view, but I wanted to show it from top down, and I didn't want to have it too far away so you could see the main painting. But this is the green gold, and I've added a titanium high flow, and it is mixing in with some of the other paints that I have on there. There I'm adding some of the green gold right out of the bottle, and I'm mixing it with my fingers. I'm letting the mix happen on the canvas as opposed to mixing it off to the side. So you want a balance in your painting. In my opinion, this is how I paint, of different sizes of color, different differences. So I have lines in there, so I'm going to want thicker lines, like that one green right there in the middle is a thicker line, whether it stays in the end or not. But when I'm looking at this, it's visually more appealing having a thick line and thin lines in there. That's again the high flow titanium white. I tend to make my spaces when I first paint, when I'm not thinking about it, all the same size, same shape. I always have to go back and correct that. So that's something that you'll know some of the things that you do as an artist. You may always put your main focal point right smack in the center. They call it the bullseye, and you don't really want to do that. That's not as appealing. The eye likes things offset. That's why the eye likes differences in your painting. That's why the eye likes thin and thick and chaotic and calm. So I'm still not necessarily thinking of any composition or any specific things that I, feel are critical in a painting, other than the fact that I am moving all over the canvas. This canvas is a good canvas. It is from Michaels, and it does have a tooth to it. So on this painting, I am covering up. I did not start with gesso because I like things to soak into the weave, and I like some of the weave to show on thinner areas of the paint. You can certainly cover your painting with gesso if you want. I get that question a lot. It's a preference thing. This comes with several coats of gesso. You can certainly add 1, 2, 3, or 4 more to make it extremely smooth. I like roughness. I like the texture. So again, I'm adding some more of that. That's the golden high flow. The nozzle at the top, which they're horrible. They get clogged, and I got to get new ones all the time. Unless you're really cleaning those nozzles, get clogged. Like I said, some of the bottom part of the painting you're not going to see because this is a very large canvas, and this is as high as it will go. That is a Lucas paint. It's a medium size. It's not as thick as a tube paint, but it's thicker than the golden flows or fluids and high flows. So you can either add water to it, or most of the time over to the side I've mixed that pink with some white, or I've mixed it with the orange, just so that it all blends together. But having the difference with the high flow, which is very liquidy, and a thicker paint, to me is a great balance on your paintings. So you can see me, I think I'm trying to add some magenta from Goldens, and those lids just get clogged. So I'm grabbing that pink and mixing it in, and of course my best mixer is my fingers, but I'm mixing it in with the other colors so that all the quality of the tones go together, because they have a little bit of each of the other colors mixed in. The painting at this point is very light. So right there, I added straight from the bottle. Some of it mixes in. And then one of the tricks that I use is when you mix a color, and I don't add a lot of it, onto the top of your canvas that's straight out of the bottle, that is as pure as that color gets from that bottle. And so sometimes you may want to add that as a pop. But again, it won't mix in with the other colors as well, because it doesn't have the qualities of each of the other colors with it. But it is fun to add that as something extra. I am now turning the canvas around. I believe it was 90 degrees. And you can see some of the white high flow has gone throughout, dripped down, grabbing some of the other colors. Some of it I like, some of it I don't. You'll see me use paper towel, my fingers, to dab up some. Before I get to some of it, with dabbing it, it has soaked into the other color, which I love. So it's just a preference on if you like drips, if you like them blending together like that. I like that. I like things to be very layered on my paintings, almost to the point you can't tell what you've added on top and how they were added, what you put first. I like the ability to have them all intermix and flow together. I am adding some more pencil, and some of the painting is dry, some is not, so the pencil will show up differently in different areas. Where it's dry, you'll see the pencil mark. Where it's wet, you'll see the dragging, like right there through that pink, which I just obliterated half of it. You'll see a mark. If I make a mark I will always, probably 95% of the time, mark part of that out. I don't particularly like a mark that is so stark that you know the mark is on top. I like to have the marks kind of bled within each other. So I believe at this point I let the painting dry, and I am now going to work on bringing out some maybe balance of the darks and the lights. So I'm adding some more of that green gold, again letting it blend on the canvas. I am going through, so there is some, this is still a little bit wet. I am going through and I'm looking at different areas that I want to just dabble in a little bit of here and a little bit of there, some different color. I love layers. I do a lot of layers. It may not look like I'm doing a lot of layers when the painting is done, but as you can tell, I've gone in and just done a layer, add more paint, do another layer, wipe with paper towel, wipe with a baby wipe, use my fingers, blend in. I use my fingers a lot. Now I'm looking and I'm thinking I need to add more contrast, and I like very unstructured lines in my paintings. So I'm adding some of that magenta. It's quinacridone magenta. If I didn't have to say it on camera, I could say it better, but that's the color. It starts with a Q. Quinacridone magenta. And I'm adding it in and obliterating some of the lines, smearing some, letting some stay as stark as I put it on with the paintbrush. I'm just looking through the painting, trying to decide what I want to add next. Now I'm adding another layer of pencil. I'm marking through some of that wet paint and that magenta. Now I'm adding more of the high flow titanium white. I have jugs of that titanium white because I love white and black. You'll see white and black of some sort in all my paintings. You'll see the area that I find the most interesting are the areas that have the balance. It's a light against the dark or a dark against the light where the eye tends to go. You want some of that. You want some of the painting to be very quiet, where the paints are all the same tones. But then you want areas where the eye wants to look, where there's stark contrast. And that you don't, I mean, I've had very chaotic paintings where the whole painting is very chaotic. And that took me some work to do for it to look balanced. But on a lot of the paintings I like to do, you'll see a lot of area where it is very quiet, and then you'll see areas, and there may not be a lot of areas that have the chaoticness or boldness where there's contrast of some sort. And you'll see one of the past paintings I did, they posted, it's where I went in and I veiled or masked off, covered up, whatever you want to call that term, some of the area to make the eye look at certain focal points. So the whole thing did not have a lot of chaoticness. Doesn't mean your paintings can't have that if that's what you like. It's a preference thing. When somebody asks me, how do I know when my painting is done? I know it's done when the eye can float through the painting, and the eye has places to go that are exciting. I've had critique my painting. I didn't want them to, but of course a lot of people feel like they can, and that's if people want to go through and critique my painting, that's fine. But I'm the artist, and the point I'm trying to make is you might have people that'll come to you and say, I don't like that, or the eye can't flow through, or the eye stops here, the eye stops there. If you love your painting, then there's going to be someone else that's going to love your painting too. I sell my artwork, and I don't have a physical presence out at galleries right now because of my health issues. So I sell my paintings through social media. Many of my paintings are sold to past collectors. I sell a lot through Instagram. I sell a lot off my website. I sell a handful in online galleries. And if I can sell my artwork, I know you can too. There will be people. It does take work. I work at 2 hours a day on marketing of some sort. I work very hard at marketing my art. And I still work hard at learning my art. There are artists that are way more advanced than me that have been very harsh on me as an artist. I don't listen to them because I am who I am as an artist. I am where I am at in my journey. I share my process with you all to help you learn. If I'm not like, the best artist in the world, those best artists may not be putting videos out there to help other artists. And I want to help other artists with anything that I can. But what I'm trying to say is don't be critical on yourself, and don't let other people be critical on your artwork unless you are open to and I'm not saying I don't. I do have other artists that I believe in that I will ask for their critical opinion because I like their style. I will ask them to give me ideas. I will take classes from them. There's one artist, Nancy Hillis. I take a lot of classes through her. She's a phenomenal artist. Her art is not necessarily my style, but she is a very messy artist. I hope she doesn't mind me saying that. Like me, and I like her fluidity. I like her boldness, and I like the way she teaches. Her art and my art are totally different, really, looks in art, but the concepts that I learn, I love. So I will allow myself to have criticism from those that I choose, and that's what you should allow. Do the art you want. Keep practicing. Keep painting. Don't stop. Don't give up. If I gave up on when I felt like giving up many times, I would not be where I am today. And I do sell my art. I don't have a gallery like these famous artists that I have my paintings in physically. I hope to someday, but that's a whole nother line of work that I would have to create. And I don't take that time right now. I have other things I do, like being a grandmother and enjoying doing my YouTube videos. These take a lot of work for you. But to get back and off my soapbox, I am adding some black. Again, I told you I love black and white. So I added black. It's the carbon black. There are different, there's a Mars black and a carbon black. I like the carbon black. Use it the most. I like Mars black. I think it's cooler. But I will use the carbon black, high flow, golden, dip my brush down in it, and put it on my canvas, and it will blend with the other paints, or it will stay on top. So those are some of the marks that I wanted to add to the painting. Now, because of my lighting, and I'm still working, it takes money to buy new lighting, and I'm a one woman shop. But the lighting at the top there doesn't show the whole painting. It's kind of washed out there at the top there. But you'll see through the painting how, again, you'll see the play back and forth between the different marks that I leave on the top and the marks that I want to make sure that don't look like I was just slapping a mark on the painting. I like to sometimes hide it underneath another mark. So there is a balance here of the darks and the lights. And in the quiet area, some of the lines I've added are not bold. Well, they're bold lines, but they're not chaotic lines as a lot of color with them, like that one right there at the bottom on the left at this point. So that's another Lucas color. It's vermilion, I think. And I like Lucas with my goldens because of the softness of the Lucas paints. It's Lukas. So I'm just going to keep painting here and pop in when there's something to add to the style. So what I've done is I've actually popped in the finished painting, and it turned out pretty chaotic. I still feel there's some focal points, but I did kind of go chaotic on this one, and I think I'm done. I have posted it as done. I like it. So I wanted to do that so you could see where the painting went. I may start with a philosophy of keeping just a couple areas quiet, but as you can see, the finished painting on this turned out fun and full of vigor. I sold a painting very similar to this where it had a lot more of the greens in it, and I just recently sold it and I called it Orange Lipstick. This one I'm calling Pink Lipstick because I think I have more pinks in it and less of the greens, but it's very similar in how it feels to me. It actually looks more like about where I am in this painting. So it was quieter. Could I go into the finished painting and veil off and make it less chaotic? Yes, but I liked the finished painting, so I didn't. I like it where it is. You can always do more paintings, so it's not cast in stone that you have to leave a painting exactly as it is. You can see that particular mark there to me reminded me of something that I didn't like. It looked like human anatomy parts. So I obliterated part of it. And I worked at a gallery one time, it was a art studio where there was a whole bunch of us in residence, about 100 artists, and I worked in one of the buildings. And there was about 12 of us, and there was one lady that would go around and she would be the one to find human body parts in your paintings and tell you that's what she sees. And I kind of remember taking on her thought process and looking at my paintings with a little bit of a critical eye. You can't unsee something that you see, if you know what I mean. So I continue using my fingers. I'm bringing in some gray. Of course, you'll see the end painting has some of the gray taken away. Kind of see, and I hope it helps having this painting up there so you see where I ended up and from where I'm going. So I'm just going to keep painting, adding marks with my fingers, with a brush, with whatever tool I might have, and let you watch. So I turned one of the lights off that I had. I would think that more lighting would help you see, but um, I'm just trying to figure out the lighting that's best for you. And I've turned this painting again another 90 degrees to keep up where I am playing on the canvas. But you see I'm adding more and more layers on top just to keep an interest going with the eye as it goes through the painting. So I'm keeping that painting, the finished painting, up there for you, because I hope that helps as a guide as to where I'm headed. All right, as I finish this up, you'll see that even when I turn the camera off, I did go in and add a little bit more white to some of those spaces, and with the palette knife, and maybe just a couple touches, but not much. So, and again, the lighting on the camera is maybe not as good, because the painting itself, when I do the video of the painting or the photo of the painting, is truly what the painting looks like. So I truly hope that you enjoy this process of painting from the canvas, blank canvas, all the way through to a finished painting. It does take layers, and many times I cannot do videos like this because I do put layers and layers, but I was able to capture this one to the best of my ability for you. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you appreciated it, give me a thumbs up, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks so much for joining me here.